Hi there, this is Trent Goodbody, friend from government. Boy, man, this is gonna be fun. Uh, you might want to go grab something to drink because this is gonna take a little bit. I mean, I'm not intentionally gonna try to take a long time, but it's actually important that you hear my views about this subject. I'm gonna go through. There's a guy who made a post about me, and I'm taking it that he's pretty upset, but I have a feeling that this was the plan from the beginning. This guy Scotty Hochstetter, he likes to always say that him and a group of friends did this. Like he has like 4 or 5 friends. I don't know if these friends exist or if he just needed more weight when he at the end of this plan, because this is like the end game here. This is what they've been planning for literally years. Scotty Hochstetter uh, wanted to join the community, and he bought several plots, sections, memberships in the community. Um, and I don't know these people. I don't mean to say these people because they were my friends. You know, I never I never had any problems with them until the end game went into effect and they started doing all this. Anyway, I'm going to cut the commentary. This is going to be like the first video I make about this. I mean, there's actually been other videos I made about this, but maybe it's an ongoing process. I don't know. The uh, you know, each one of these people that's involved in this, you know, I need to do a little thing just on them because they each have their own individual character, and they each have their part to play in this whole I don't know, stage act or something, you know. But to me, this is my life. These people are destroying my life. They have they get on here and they're talking about me not being clean. And it's funny because right before all this stuff, I was getting serious text message harassment, and I can show you some of that, but serious for days and days. And I think it was for them to and you know what, it's funny because there were little clues in all these text message attacks that I would get that told me that it was them. They wanted me to come back and initiate some kind of retaliation against them, and I admit I fell for it. I'm sorry. You know, I make mistakes too. I'm not perfect, but I never intended to con these guys out of anything. I've offered them a refund. That's not good enough for them. So what that tells me is that they're not interested in resolving this. They're interested in destruction. They're interested in just taking me out. You know what I mean? Persecution. And, you know, the further I get down this plan of theirs, the more I think that the whole thing was planned from the beginning. And as you watch me go through here, you'll be able to see the same things. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through these comments, and I'm just going to give my perspective, my points of view on them, because I should be able to add my thoughts to this since it's all about me, you know. Okay, notice that this is a public post made a few days ago. And he says, well, I guess Trent Goodbody is back on my page after he up and blocked me for slander. Okay, now, after I blocked him for slander, he says, as I have gathered from others. So that's hearsay. It's like so now he can say that I blocked him for slander, and as long as he puts it off on somebody else. Why didn't he just talk to me? I tried calling him. And it's funny because none of these people tried to work this out with me privately. It's like they all wanted to do it publicly. They wanted to crucify me publicly here. And that tells me something else, that they aren't interested in a refund. The land also is still there. It's still available, but these people keep wanting to fight and be negative. It's like they don't want either one. They just want to fight. They want my energy. They want to drag me down to that lower vibration. Anyway, I started here, and I'll continue. Well, I guess Trent Goodbody's back on my page. Da da da. Slander, hearsay. I hope all of them comment, as I have not blocked any of them. Who? You hope all of them comment, as I have not blocked any of them. Who? Oh, me? Just me? Okay. He didn't tell me he just blocked me. We had a few conversations via Messenger, which I will also share below. He doesn't share the entire conversations. He just shows a few screenshots. But, the conversation's not really relevant at this point. Let's just try to resolve this, right? He says, I have remained silent up to this point, but I guess Trent posting this comment on a few of my posts means he wants to discuss this in the public, which I invite and encourage full disclosure. I invite Hoplite to comment too, but I don't think he will. He is the one who sent Trent this comment pictured below. Okay, so he encourages full disclosure, right? However, you can't be transparent about all of your business dealings. And if you think that you can, put your PIN number and your credit card number and the expiration date in the comments, along with the little 3-digit code on the back. You know what I mean? You can't, everything can't be public. And these guys, honestly, they didn't make any attempt to privately resolve this with me. Nikki Napier, Evil Love, whatever she wants to go by, I believe they were provocateurs from the start. And the whole blow up happened when they went ballistic and we got, sorry. What happened was Nikki's boyfriend or husband or whatever he is fractured another community member's skull. And it was a refracture. I guess he had been injured before. But the thing is, I don't believe in violence, and that is not going to fly in a community that I'm a part of. I'm sorry. It's a refuge and a sanctuary. It is not a place where people challenge each other every day and go violating people's property. Nikki and her husband would rush up on Gator and Shannon all the time. Every day she would walk in their house without even knocking or anything, just walk right in. And I know that she violated my privacy too. She would just walk in my RV when I was, not even decent. And I would tell them, wait. She'd just walk in anyway and go sit in my spot and stuff. Just like totally violating my everything of mine. And they want to talk about me like I'm a dirty piece of trash. But we didn't have running water out there. How dare they? How dare they take all these punch jabs below the belt? And you'll see what I'm talking about. I need to move on here because this is going to be a long video. I'm at 8 minutes already. The point is here, Scotty invites full disclosure, but he hasn't even tried to work this out with me. This is just like an attack. It's not full disclosure. So he did read my book. Well, congratulations. You can read. Good. You had 2 meetings with the FBI. Interesting. And then the next sentence after that is, I'm not a snitch. But 1 meeting with the FBI wasn't enough? There was 2? Okay. All right. That's cool. But, so he says, Hoplite and his skewed vision of the law was the reason the FBI visited me, and I was deemed a domestic terrorist and part of the sovereign citizen movement, and why I was housed with the federal inmates in jail. So it wasn't your fault all this happened. It was somebody else's fault. And their skewed vision is why you went to jail. Okay. All right. I guess I can handle that. But at some point you're going to have to accept responsibility for your own actions, Scotty. Anyway, he admits to not being smart enough or confident enough or experienced enough to know that Hoplite's and Trent's tactics were extremely dangerous. No, they're extremely dangerous. And what tactics exactly is that you're talking about? The tactics I try to teach people is to not go to court. So, like, how is that extremely dangerous? Obviously, you went to court. You know what I mean? So, anyway, he says, although I do believe there's some good intentions out of both of them, I believe their ability to accept new ideas when presented with new evidence might be slightly lacking. You know what they call that where I come from? Slander. Defamation, right there. My ability to accept new ideas when presented with new evidence might be slightly lacking. That's a dig at me, man. Someone who says they never do that, that was one right there. He says, I and three other friends paid close to $4,000 for property, each one of us for an acre of land. So maybe he's the leader of his friends or whatever. But why don't his friends have anything to say? You know, he and his four friends. I think the FBI gave him 10 grand, and they said, here, put 4 grand down on this property so you can get in on it, and we have some spots. I don't know, just throwing that out there. And then they got hooked up with Evil Love somehow, and yeah, she paid money, but she didn't give me no 10 grand. And let me tell you that $1,000 for an acre of land is dirt cheap. And you can't expect to have any improvements on it. Like, you can't expect to have the $1,000 for your acre go to building a well. No, that's going to pay for the land. Okay? Anyway, the reason why I'm so adamant about that is because this guy later on is just, he's trying to confuse people. Trying to. Anyway. I and 3 other friends paid close to $4,000 for property, each one of us paying for an acre of land. One, Evil Love, paid money also and was kicked out after her father or friend hit a guy on the property named Gator. I don't care who did the hitting. The fact is that her little group was starting shit. They were always drinking, throwing beer bottles all along the trail, breaking in glass, and you should see the mess that Evil Love left. Nikki Napier, she left this huge mess. I've been working on cleaning it up for months. And you know what? That's worth more than $1,000 to me that I have to clean all that up, Nikki. Are you going to reimburse me for any of that time? You know, there's big mess. There's shit. There's used motor oil. There's broken glass. Boards with nails hanging out of them. It's bad news. I think she did all this stuff on purpose. Broken up concrete, and it's like hazardous, and she made the whole place look bad. She put spray paint all over everything, like graffiti and stuff. Oh man, it's messed up. Anyway, he brings in Gator and Shannon. It says that Shannon followed him religiously until a few weeks ago. So, like, you're a religion now, or what? And I guess she blocked me too. No, she didn't block you. Nobody blocked you, Scotty. I actually liked Shannon and her daughter. We had a good time when I was there together. I'm kind of getting pissed off reading this, so I need to hurry up and just move through it so I can get through this. Evil, Nikki, asked numerous times for paperwork or contracts from Trent to show proof she owned an acre of land. She never did. She never asked me for that. Otherwise, she would have got it. She got what she asked for every time. And she says that she loved me. Loved. Her conditional love was actually there for me at one point. For quite a while, actually. So, they never asked for contracts. And as a matter of fact, it was a trust. Like, we needed to trust each other. And these guys came in, I think like I said, they want to tear this apart from the beginning. Which is why I believe that this guy, Scotty, he's not cool. He's exactly what, I don't know. You can come to your own conclusion here after this. So okay, let me go back. Evil asked numerous times for paperwork or contracts from Trent to show proof she owned an acre of land. So I did. I gave them whatever they wanted, and they didn't ask for that. Otherwise, they'd be posting screenshots of it, I think, right? After Evil got kicked out, I felt uneasy about what was happening. Trent told me I had to unfriend Evol because she's a, I'm adding this. This is my emphasis because she was violent at the very least, and I think that it was worse than that. I think that she's a real venomous snake. Anyway, I mean, just look at the work she does. Her art is all evil, and she likes playing with Chucky dolls, and man, it's kind of sick, actually. It reminds me of demonic witchcraft and Satanism and stuff. Anyway, uh, I never ever told anybody they would get kicked out of their property. I said to come start developing it, come claim it. They never did that. Scotty and his friends never shut up. I mean, Scotty came over with one guy named Nick, but he wasn't even one of the guys buying. It's like there's fishy, shady stuff going on from the beginning. So, and I think that this was the plan from the beginning as well. He claimed that I did not come and stake my land. Problem with that is that I selected a plot, and each one of my friends did too. When I arrived in Lovelock, Trent's trailer was along my border. No, I was everything of mine, and I made sure of this, was at least 20 feet away from your border. So you weren't, it wasn't even on your, there was no poo house on your land. I was not on your land. Your land was fine. And I pointed to it, and I told you it's right there. So I don't know what the problem is. According to the map, that should have been open land for everyone to use. Yeah, well, everyone, no one was even there. So, whatever. Right in front of mine. No, it wasn't right in front of yours. Your acre was next to it. Man, he's like, I asked where my property was, and he said, well, my shit house is on it. And I never said that. Yeah, this is more slander. How can you go public with this stuff when when it's not verified? When you don't even have any evidence to show that, Ugh. He's like, cool, Trent, no big deal. I'll just move. Okay, yeah, and that was fine. Didn't you say that back then? Like, and I never told you that my poo house was on your land. I said it was over there, and it was at least 20 feet away, and there was no poo going in the ground. It was an outhouse with a bucket that got emptied. So there was no poo on your land. There was no poo house on your land. That's an excuse. That's an excuse. So we got through that. Besides, all three of my friends were there next to me. We all was shipped to somewhere else. Yeah, I've never seen your other friends that bought land. It's weird. Are they with the FBI or something? Anyway, sorry. But it turns out that I didn't buy a piece of property. I bought a membership into a fellowship. Classic bait and switch. Trent turns out to be a pastor. No, you know what? I'm a minister, and I have to administrate things. And I cannot allow violence going on out there. And if you want to fraternize with violent individuals that have been known to be violent and have restraining orders against them for their violence, come on, man, my hands are tied, man. You could have done this without them. And you being the ringleader, you and Evol being the ringleaders and trying to get everybody against me, yeah, it speaks volumes. I feel like you guys, this isn't your first rodeo, Well, it was no bait and switch. I've tried to work with you all the time, and you will never be able to show me any evidence of me kicking you out. Yeah, and another thing is you'll never be able to show me any evidence of anybody ever going to Nikki's house and harassing her. You'll never see that because it never happened. You'll never see any evidence of me going to anybody else's house and harassing them because I don't do that. I offered this guy a refund and he declined it, which means he just is into crucifying me. So I have to set the record straight. I haven't even gone through the first little part of this and I'm at 20 minutes, so I'm going to start going faster. Okay, so he says, news to me. I didn't believe he was a pastor, but when I saw the restraining order, yes, the government paper, with Trent's name on it, with the title of pastor, I knew hopefully Evol will share the instrument he used against her. Okay, so if my name is on a restraining order, all that says is that there was a restraining order and that someone needed to be restrained. I didn't sign it. The person whose skull you cracked signed it. And they put my name on there. You guys are like spreading half truths. This is totally typical. Spreading half truths and just throwing it out there, feeding it to the masses, and just giving them half the story, and then, oh, man, it's just so messed up. These guys are professionals, I swear. News to me. I didn't believe he was a pastor, but when okay, hopefully you've all shared the instrument. Yeah, like that's going to prove anything other than it's going to prove that she's violent. That's all. Anyway, Gator refused to show his face as some authorities are after him. What does that mean? Man, there he goes making another claim that there's no evidence for. He didn't pay any money, and yes, he did pay money. How do you know? How do you know, Scotty, what he did? You don't even know. You're just making claims without, your controversy is what you're doing. Unclean hands. Not even trying to negotiate with me. None of these guys tried to negotiate with me in private. They all wanted to take it public and destroy my reputation. This is totally defamation. So, he does not work and gets benefits from the government. Oh, wait, I skipped a part. Gator refused to show his face as some authorities are after him. He didn't pay any money and is Trent's right man. Yeah, he did pay money because he was getting more acreage. But that's none of your business, Scotty. Gator was part of some gang in Wisconsin and did time in jail. Gator was part of some gang, huh? Man, if that's not slanderous, I don't know what is. There's no proof for all this stuff. Why is he just throwing this out here? What does Gator have to do with me? I mean, and what is him getting benefits from the government? How is that wrong? Like most people get benefits from the government because the government is trying to control everybody. And if everybody's on the dole, then everybody's under control. But I am not, and I'm not on government benefits. And when people imply that I am or say that I am, that's wrong of them, and it's slanderous. So anyway, he says, I'm not the one to hide, and I'm fine airing my dirty laundry and things that are kept secret are bad. Yeah, like your PIN number. That's bad, huh? Okay, so that's what Scotty said. Next, we have what I posted to his Instagram. This is a message I got from someone about 3 years ago, and he wanted to remain anonymous, but Scotty wanted to point him out right away. Anyway, hello, Trent. We've been friends for 3 years or so. I purchased your Right to Travel book and packing the plates. I like the work you do. I recently have seen you maybe in danger of a con man, FBI snitch, whose name is Scotty Hochstetter. I met him on Facebook and went to Chicago to help him fight a pot case, and we used your book as a tool that backfired on him. He went to jail, and when he got out, the FBI met with him, and he began to blame me, your book, and others for his time in jail. Scotty is not a king, not a man. He is a bitch, a con man, a backstabber, a young child at best, and he is a self-professed frat boy, a party boy. Scotty is dangerous. If you piss him off in any way, he will attack you in very disturbing ways. This is evidence of that. Obviously, I messed up bad. That's a short story. Do with the info as you see fit. I regret being his friend and trying to help a stranger with law. He imposed, squatted, then backstabbered me for his sins that were not mine. Do not trust or do business with him. Good day. I say thank you. He says, sure thing. I'm looking out for anyone who may be in danger of his bizarre and damaging actions. Keep up the incredible and dangerous and road less traveled work you do. Okay. 582 comments. Okay. Yeah, he called the IRS on me. And I'll show you, I can show you the messages he sent me anonymously. But this is all just crap. Like, what is their problem with me? That's when I got my friend John Freeman involved here. Because he's a little more diplomatic than I am. So, I say, Someone sure spent a lot of time on this one. I think that you guys have targeted Trent because he was successful for years at stealing the livestock, and the rulers can't have that. If Trent is such a bad guy, then why would he do it with his real name and post his phone number and expose himself like that? It's because people call me when they get pulled over on the side of the road and they need someone to talk to and help them right then. And if you want to persecute me for that, you go ahead. I think that this is a setup, and anyone still involved at this point is a provocateur. He offered refunds, and you guys didn't want that. You wanted to crucify him instead. And Evil Love laughs about it, and I say, yeah, it is funny, isn't it, Evil? I say, I was out there. I lived with you for over a year. What is your damn nickname? Evil? Laugh it up. Try to put those sheep back in the pens. And that's where I'm laughing. Oh, crap. Oh, whoa. Oh, man, that's messed up. Good thing I have the conversation here. Yeah, that was interesting because I got a little caught off guard by Nikki deleting all of her comments off of that thread. But this is a thread that I want to show you before she deleted her comments that will help all this make sense to you, okay, and to everyone. So I just read this part, and I said, yeah, it is funny, isn't it, Evil? And she says, John Freeman, I think unless you were out there, you are clueless. Your comment, yes, it's hilarious. And look at all those smiley faces. She's laughing so much that she's crying like 100 times. I said, I was out there. I lived with you for over a year. What is your damn nickname? Evil? And I say, laugh it up. Try to put those sheep back in the pens. And she says, everyone but the Kratom junkies involved with the scam can't be wrong. Even Shannon is against her husband. So there she's trying to throw fuel in the fire and make accusations. And I'm just trying to be Socratic. And thank you, Socrates. I mean Socrates. But, Bill and Ted. Thank you, Socrates. So I ask, what is a Kratom junkie? I mean, because really, I know what a heroin junkie is. Never heard of a Kratom junkie. And she says, you weren't out there, LMMFAO. I have hundreds of videos and photos, and your ass, nowhere. You don't even know who you're talking to. So I ask, why are you so vile? And I say, wrong. I am everywhere. She says, you go through what we've all been through, you wouldn't be sucking Trent's widow pecker. Wow, girl. And she, what is this? Laugh, okay sign, and God. Omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient. Omniscient. Omniscient? Is that how you say it? But at any rate, no matter what, if I'm everywhere, she's still sick because she's just a sick individual. And of course, she went through. She had to delete all these comments because they're sick and they demonstrate how she's handling this whole thing. And she's violent too. So she doesn't ask me if I DGAF what your ass thinks. More laughing. Bye-bye. Continue with Trent's knob. Man. Yeah, we know that you don't care. Never have cared. All these smiley faces and stuff because you know me. Yeah, I know you. You are a Viper. And I'm not going to go into the stuff because she already called me a Freemason in some earlier messages trying to discredit me. I have an inkling that these guys are part of something much bigger. They may not know it. They're probably compartmentalized, but they've probably been funded by someone who needs their sheep to stop escaping. Anyway, she says, John Freeman, cool. She says, your opinion is useless here. Okay, so yeah, my opinion's useless, but I'm just asking questions. I'm not throwing opinions. Oh, I guess I did. She's very venomous, a venomous viper. Anyway, I ask, was your biggest problem with Trent? Let's get to the meat of this, right? What was his biggest fault? Was he too kind? She says, I loved Trent. You were clueless. I loved that Mo. Until he screwed us over. I screwed them over. I screwed them over. Because I didn't stand for violence. That's not called screwing you over. That's called standing up for what's right. Anyway, she says, I would have gave my life protecting that Mao. But the minute one wants proof, you are an enemy. Wow. Really, Evol? The minute one wants proof, you are the enemy. So now there's a new enemy in Evol's life. I ask her, is your love always conditional? What did he do to screw you over? Because honestly, I didn't hear about what he did to you. She says, Trent plays everyone against one another. Maybe you should go read all 78 evidences above. I always play everyone against each other. This captured screenshot is from when I told her that the county code enforcement officer came out and said that there was too many unregistered vehicles, and I don't know if you can zoom that in. Maybe I'll put it on the video. But this is really exhausting. It's taking a lot out of me, and I'm probably gonna need to rest for a little bit after this. But she says Trent plays everyone against each other. Maybe you should go read all 78 evidences above. Yeah, evidences. The only evidence that I would need is the restraining order, because that shows that she's violent and she's not welcome. Okay, that's all the evidence we need. This is not evidence. This is just things to convolute the issue, is what you're doing. So John says, Trent plays everyone against each other. Is that a projection? Because is that what he did to you? Is that why you are so mad? Is that why you put all this together? Because I play everyone against each other? Doesn't that sound like a projection? Who do you think is playing everyone against each other? Is it me? Is it really me? Is that the goal of my community? Play everyone against each other and destroy, self-destruct? Yeah. That's what I wanted to do out there. I wanted to go out there and just self-destruct. So she keeps laughing. What is just so funny? What is so funny to her? So John says, if the land wasn't paid for yet, why would Turtle think that it was? See, there's more. There's more to this. There's so much more. There's so much drama. Man, I'm so over all this. But there are some cool people. Up to this point, Bob has been cool, and Shannon and Gator. So it's not everybody, you guys. It's just this group of infiltrators. Nikki brought Turtle and their family. They came with her. So that is like her. She brought them. You see what I'm saying here? And her and Scotty are real close together. I think that Scotty came out first, and him and his quote unquote friends bought some land, and then Nikki wanted to get in on it, and so I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, if a refund is what they're after, I've offered them a refund. But they say, no, a refund's not good enough. I'm going to come use my land. Like that. Like, what? Like, that's scary. That's a threat. And that's not, that's scary, isn't it? These violent people that have been known for their violence threatening you like that. I'm going to come back. I'm going to use my land. I don't care what you say. Anyway, we'll move on. This turtle thing, we're not quite there yet, but I'll get to it. There's so many different facets to this. To this, it's just, yeah, it's crazy. And if you're any kind of targeted individual, you'll know what I'm talking about. I've been out there for years, just screaming from the rooftops, basically. You know what I mean? I had to expect this, right? I had to expect this, and now I have to experience it so I can get through it and know how to defeat these guys. You know? So she says, ignorance is my pet peeve, Trent. I mean, John. I mean, they attack me anonymously for a long time, and I'm not attacking them. I'm trying to be a third party that's just asking questions, looking for answers. You know, what is really going on here? So, asking questions is not a display of ignorance. Not providing answers is. Your name sure fits. I guess that was a little bit of a dig, but maybe it was a compliment, right? So I say, I hate to tell you this, but the seller never finalized. Yeah, because, okay, see, the code enforcement officer came out, and she calls him because his name's on the deed. And I am making payments on this land. And so that happens, and he freaks out. He calls me up, says, deal for phase 2 is off for now, because until we see how you handle this code enforcement officer, I don't want to risk it. And there's a whole nother thing, a whole nother issue about people selling land and to people making payments, and then the code enforcement officer comes out and tells them about these violations, and the people get scared and run off, and the guy basically the seller basically uses the payments that were paid on the land as rent payments, because the people just abandon the land, and he gets to resell it. And I asked the seller of this land how many times if he sold this land before me, once before at least. He said yes, he sold it once before. So if he's willing to admit that he sold it once before to someone else, that means he's in on the scam, whether he knows it or not. And at that point, I told him, I'm not going to bring you into this. I just want to deal with it, you know? And so at that point, he made me a deal for the land, and I gave him a few grand, and we got paid off. We paid the land off, okay? So at that point, we got the deed for the land. And but phase 2 is still on hold. I still have first right of refusal to those other parcels, but he wants to see how I handle this code enforcement officer, and that's all right. You know, I got the first one, and I told them that, yeah, there's some spots available in the first one you guys can stay at, and I had the contract for the second phase 2. I just hadn't returned it, and so I guess I should have returned it earlier, but he would have I'm sure he would have tried to find a way out of it, even if, I don't know. The code enforcement officer kind of threw a wrench in things, and that's not my fault. It's the code enforcement officer's fault, or it's and I'm not even trying to place blame here, but it could be the seller that, I mean, yeah, it could be my fault for having code enforcement issues, but that's not even relevant at this point, because I wanted to, work with them to remedy it. And that's just what anybody should do, is work with Work with each other. Jeez. Anyway, that's what this text message says here. It says, I think I will get the deed phase 1 through, and we have 20 acres that you can use. Yeah, so she wanted 10, and I told her there were 20 available, but she ended up only wanting 1 or 2 or something. So that's fine. I mean, it's all good. So that's that. And then she says, I think his words meaning my words. Yeah, 20 acres. You guys can do whatever you want, you know? I'm willing to make a deal. Let's work together. So that was the first little part of the second video here, or second part and a half. So his words is what that one says right there. So then I say, I think that you probably falsified that screenshot because there's no number, just a name. Yeah, if you program someone's phone, I mean, if you get 2 phones in your hand and you send a text message to the other phone, and then you program the name to be a name and make it so the number doesn't show anymore, you can say it was from anybody. That's why I say that you probably falsified that screenshot, because I don't think that, I mean, there was no number on it. I keep all the numbers on all mine, but there was no number on it. Plus, I don't know what. I'm not going back to that right now. We're 15 minutes into this second part, which means we're for like 40 minutes in on this thing, so I got to keep going. Even if it is real, he says he didn't have the deed, so that would mean that the land is not paid off at that point. What is she laughing about? Oh, because I said she falsified the screenshot. She says, John Freeman, I'm not going to repost everything you want your nose and shit so bad. Take yourself a few comments up and read. We don't live off gooberment. We have work to do. Bye-bye. Holler when you have gained the unprogrammed brain. Unprogrammed brain? That's good. That's rich. And actually, I'm LMFAOing too. It's all still in my phone for attorney. Ooh, yeah, her attorney. I think I'm going to actually reserve my thoughts on that matter for the moment. Anyway, so I say, if someone is taking money from the state, are they bad? And she says, when they all claim freedom from gooberment, yep, fraud. And I said, who claimed that? Who claimed freedom from gooberment? Because I thought it was called left area acres. You know, that's what I called it. And she laughs about that. She says, John Freeman, no, it's not. You are clueless. And I was like, I mean, was there a rule that people had to not be on government services to be there? No. She says, it's a cult called divine authority. With the laughing thing. And she says, yep. Obviously in reference to this. People had to not be on government services to be there. So I say, okay, because I'm now on this third person here. Okay, I didn't know. So does that mean that people are supposed to not be on welfare out there or something? And I guess my question is, does it really matter? Isn't that kind of a lame reason to do all this to them? Is it even any of your business? You know, if someone's on, is that her business? I don't think so. So she says, freedom from gooberment means nothing from gooberment. Oh yeah? So are you going to say you take nothing from gooberment? Do you know that the standardization of the operating system of your phone is probably regulated by government? Sorry, I'm getting off on a tangent there. Everything's regulated by government, dumbass. You're not going to get away with not being. Oh my goodness, I gotta stop. Okay, there's gonna be government, and just because someone is getting benefits from the government, it doesn't make them bad. And I don't do it, but that doesn't. I don't care. I'm not going to judge. That's judgmental. I don't judge people. Someone else is there to judge them. Someone else. I mean, it's not. Maybe not even someone. Maybe they're going to judge themselves. I don't know. Maybe it's not my job. I just know that. Anyway, she says, freedom from government means nothing from government. We moved across the U.S. for freedom and found kratom junkies that get a government check on the 3rd and 15th. I'll come back later and try to answer some things for you. She came back later and deleted everything for me. We're busy infiltrating the freedom bus. I mean, working on the freedom bus. I said, you mean that you infiltrated the freedom bus? Oh, crap. That sounds just like what I said. So, Trent got a check from the government every month? I'm asking. Second time you've used that word kratom. What is that? What is kratom? Is that like a tea or something? And then she says, Trent, you effed up by effing us. How did I F you? You were violent. What, am I supposed to let you get away with violence? That's how I effed you? Is by letting you be violent? Nice. Nice. Nice reasoning. That's logical. So logical. And it's all on camera for attorneys to show. I'll threaten me with your attorney. Your slimy... Sorry, I have to not... I'm reserving judgment on the bar members at this time. And I just say it sounds legit. How about that? She's like, peace. And I'm like... John's like... Something seems wrong with how you are acting, like you perhaps don't have good answers to those simple questions. Also, if there was a rule that no one could be on government assistance, was this a rule that the community agreed on? Because I thought that there were no rules. And even if that was the case, is being on welfare the reason why you did all this to them? Is that their biggest crime? Being on welfare? Getting paid by the government, that's their biggest crime. That's why they deserve all this. That's why people deserve their lives destroyed. And I'm not even on government benefits, but they're still destroying my life too. John says, I don't think that Trent is on welfare. Pretty sure, actually. This all seems pretty darn frivolous. And Shannon, bless her heart, she is awesome. And I'm not saying bless her heart so I can insult her, because I love her. And there's like 3 of us against all of this crap, man. It's taking a toll on us, all of us. Constant. It's been constant since September. It's been really bad, like just constant. Anyway. Shannon says, first off, nobody's on welfare. I didn't judge her for being an ex-murderer on death row or for being an alcoholic and an abuser. Kratom is legal and does not get you high or alter your perception in any way. It's a natural plant. I turned to to stop taking pharmaceutical drugs that they were forcing on me for years. What's really her issue? She's acting like a jealous, psychotic boyfriend. I say, I have not heard anything close to a reason that would justify all this. And Shannon says she hates not having control over Trent and us, and that she cannot make up the rules that she sees fit. It's as simple as respect thy neighbor, not abuse, assault, harass, slander, invade their privacy whenever she sees fit. Taking pictures and videos to use as blackmail or ill intent proves malice from the start. Yeah, she was filming me the whole time that I was... She claims to have filmed me every conversation with her little... camera watch. Like I'm that interesting. I said, I hope it all gets published publish. But she's not, because she doesn't want to, she wants to crucify me. She doesn't want to crucify herself. Okay? Anyway, she hates not having control over Trent and us, and that she cannot make up the rules that she sees fit. Like the one about being on government benefits. Like, nobody else agreed to that rule, but she seems to be taking it to the next level. It's as simple as respect thy neighbor. Amen. Not abuse, assault, harass, slander, and invade their privacy whenever she sees fit. Taking pictures and videos to use blackmail or ill intent proves malice from the start. She never came in honor or loyalty from the start. Nothing gives her the right to do what she's done. Nobody wants negativity, violence, or instability surrounding them. Me either. Been waiting for just one even. I haven't heard close to a reason that would justify all this. Me either. Just waiting for just one even. One good reason to justify putting lives in danger. Not even one. And I say the only thing that I see is her projecting, deflecting, and destroying, most likely because when she committed violence on her neighbors, that was the most serious offense. And that really is the elephant in the room. She laughed about it. But it got a response right away, didn't it? John Freeman, sorry, as I stated, I'm busy. You obviously aren't. If I gave a shit, I'd have my attorney answer all your questions. Who the hell are you anyway? Bye, Trent. John, wannabe Freeman. And I said, your attorney is going to ask you the same questions. Scotty pipes in. Wow. He says, I think she's upset because Trent stole $1,000 from her. Did I steal $1,000 from her? Did I? Or did she steal the innocence from my community? Huh? What's that worth? Shannon, you wouldn't be upset because you didn't pay anything. How did you know that, Scotty? That's none of your business, and you don't know. I'm upset because I paid $1,000. Who are you, John? Have a picture or something? Because I've never seen you or heard of you. I say, the only crime was committed by you, unless you can tell me about another one. And I said, what did Trent steal? What were the circumstances? And I said, I just want to be anonymous. That's how I like it. And Shannon says, she was actually just as emotionally abusive as she was violently, I guess. She basically terrorized us, my daughter, Amy, Robbie, their kids, and thinks it's normal behavior. She wants the land or to be Facebook famous off of Trent's back, but anyone in their right mind can see this woman is crazy. She completely lacks empathy and any sense of the meaning of communication. Nothing but anger, hate, and volatility. So I asked Scotty, did Trent steal from you, Scotty? Scotty says, Trent. Nice little extra account. Funny, it's nothing but freedom from government posts on it. Just unblock me and discuss this like a man. I said, no need to hide under another account. Or he said that. This is amusing. John says, does that matter? Or does Trent's theft matter? Let's stay on topic here. And John says, what were the circumstances surrounding Trent's theft from you? He says, it does matter. I can tell it's you on sentence structure. Yep. That's just exactly how I could tell it was you that was threatening me anonymously as well. For tax fraud. Tax evasion. You said you called the hotline on me. Remember that? You got another side to you there, Scotty. One that you don't project to the world, but it's there. And Hoplite, I feel bad for him that he had to deal with you too, because this is messed up. Anyway, Shannon says, she stole our metal detector too. She's a thief. I never even got a chance to use it yet, and she always went in our shit and took it. Funny how guilty people always deflect their negative and bad behavior onto others to justify their actions. We lived in peace for a year until this ex-con showed up. Yeah, we did. Me and Shannon and Bob and Gator lived in peace. We were the real community until these guys came in and stole it and ruined it. What's that worth? What kind of number would you put on that? Stealing what we were working so hard for. Anyway, Scotty says, And John says, so that seems like a great reason to avoid the question. What do you say? Oh, it's about sentence structure, because it's much easier to avoid the question than to answer it. I say, so you're making some mighty accusations there, Scotty. Why not back it up? And he avoids it again. He refers to Shannon. Again, this is not about Eva Love's character. No, it's about her violence. It's about $550. Now it's $5,600. Look at, just right here, he says he paid $1,000. And then, where were we? $5,600 being taken from me, Turtle, Eva Love, Jimmy, Kirsten, Rob, and Steve. I never met them never even seen evidence of their existence. And I'm not saying they don't exist, because their spots could easily be filled at any time by the agency that is promoting this. You see what I'm saying here? Anyway, it's about, so, being taken from me. All this money being taken. And I say, how did that happen? And he says, Trent, just stop. Like, we can't talk about this. We can't talk about this. I says, seems like you might have just given him the money. Do you have evidence to the contrary? Was it a donation? Shannon says, yes, Scotty, but she has yet to have an adult, normal, civilized conversation with Trent, yet privately to this day. Any of these people out there publicly slinging all this mud and starting all this stuff, they never talk to me about it privately. So I ask, you want me to stop? And, I'm asking him about how this money was stolen from them, like he says. And I tell him, him avoiding the question wouldn't hold up in court very well. So he goes back to Shannon. That's fine, but truthfully, I'm over what happened with you two. I'm concerned with securing my acre or getting $5,600. And Scotty says, no, Trent, I wouldn't donate $5,600 to you. And I say, I think that if you were interested in securing an acre, you would have done it already. Now it's $5,600, huh? He says, Trent, you put your poo house on my acre I picked and selected. You guys are really... Oh, sorry, I did it in the other voice. John says, you guys are really reaching here. And Scotty says, do the math, Trent. And John says, is that something that is true? That I put my poo house on his selected... Why would I do that? Come on. There's 40 acres. Do you know how big 40 acres is? 1 acre is a football field, approximately. Why would I pick his 1 acre to put my poo house on? There was 20 acres of a common area. Do you know how big that is? I'm doing the math, Scotty. The math says that it wasn't a problem. Okay? So I ask him if that is something that is true about the poo house. And it's not true. It sounds pretty messed up. It sounds like a fabrication. And do you have any evidence of that claim? Any evidence, or are you fabricating? Because if that was the problem, we could have remedied that. So this is how Trent stole $5,600. Poo house. So, and I offer them a refund. I go back to that here, and you tell me. You be the jury. Or please be the jury. I say, did Trent not already offer you a refund? Yes, multiple times. Please, just accept the refund. I can't pay it all to you right now, but please allow me the opportunity to pay it off. Seems like that would have been something that I would have accepted, unless you don't like the terms. Yeah, the terms were, I'll give you a refund if you leave me alone, never come out to the land, and stop slandering me and defaming me on publicly. Those were the terms. He never agreed because he doesn't like those terms, I'm sure, because the real plan here is to crucify me. Not to make a deal, He doesn't want to work with me. I'm here. My phone number's on my website. You know? So, Trent, did Trent not already offer a refund? Did you accept? Seems like it would have been something that I would have accepted unless you didn't like the terms. Scotty, you're the one who wanted a public blowout. Am I wrong? So Scotty says, most of us have PayPal receipts. Where are you, Bob Walker? Kind of feel like you're not the friend you claim to be. Oh, so now he's, jeez, man. I wouldn't want to be this guy's friend either. I believe the first day I was there that I wanted a contract. Why so quiet, man? Quiet, man. Afraid Trent is going to wrong you too? No, I didn't wrong Bob. I gave him my van for $20 when he had no way to get around out there. I took him to the store. I scraped the bottom of my car coming back up the mountain with him in it and his gear because it weighed so much of my little Mercury. And that's why he's not talking, Scotty, because he knows that I'm solid. So John says, you're failing to tell me how Trent stole this money from you. John says, PayPal accepts donation payments as well. John says, are you saying that Trent did not offer a refund, or is that something you would rather avoid? Sounds like you abandoned the deal to be truthful. And see this, like 39 minutes has gone by at this point. See the numbers right next to the comments? And it is worth more to you to destroy a reputation than to get your money back. Aren't you a truther, Scotty? Why not tell the truth? Do you have clean hands? Because that is something a court would take into consideration. He says, Trent, stop referring to yourself in the third person. It's just silly. But see, if he won't even interact with someone that he thinks is me but isn't me, what makes you think he's going to be straight up with me? He's not being straight up. So question, no truth, no clean hands, no refund. Just avoid dancing. You know, it's the dance you do is the avoid dance. And deflection, gotcha. And he told me to stop referring to myself in the third person. And I say, was that a lawful order? You like to be in control, don't you? You like to be in control of everything external because of your low self-worth. That's not a dig. This is true. I've worked with a lot of people with problems. I've had problems. And I tell them, you can't control what's inside, can you? Scotty says, Trent, we know it's you. And this is coming from my heart right now. And I tell him I'm sorry. And then I love you anyway. And I do. He comes back with $5,600. It's a lot of money to con out of people. And God told me to say, well, we don't have to worry about that because you have no evidence that anyone has been conned. Or talking about, unless you do somewhere that you aren't showing me or talking about. So far it sounds like you decided to walk away because of a poo house. I'm only going by what you told me. I believe that you were offered a refund. Let the record show that Scotty is deflecting, projecting, and avoiding answering certain simple questions, just like You've All Loved did. I will now submit this to the jury. Thank you, everybody, for listening. I'm not gone. I'm just busy. I love you. Peace.